Check under your chair. There's a surprise speaker tonight. So many years ago, there was a young boy named Avraham. And this is not a setup for a joke. This is a true story. He later turned out to be a great Hasidic master. And he comes barreling into his father's study, crying. And his father says, "What's wrong, my son?" And the little boy says, "What happened is I was playing hide and seek with a bunch of my friends, and no one could find me." And the father said, "Well, son, I'm proud of you because you won the game. That's the objective. That's how you win." And the boy, through his tears, he said, "No, you don't understand, Father. I hid in such a good spot that the other boys stopped searching for me." And then the father began to cry. The father's name was the Maggid of Mezrich. And the father turned his eyes to heaven and says, "Father in heaven, isn't this the story of our lives? You hid yourself in our physical reality so that we would search for you and we would seek you out. But you hid yourself so well that so many have just simply stopped searching for you." In a couple of days, we will be joining with millions of Jews around the world celebrating the festival of Hanukkah on the river, downtown. Now, this is not a plug for Hanukkah on the river downtown. That's taking place this Sunday at 3 p.m. with the boat rides, 4 p.m. with the Maccabees. We will be celebrating Hanukkah, which is, of course, the miracle of the Maccabees, the few against the many, the weak against the mighty, protecting the integrity of the Jewish faith and religion in their ancestral homeland, and, of course, the miracle of the oil that lasted for 8 days. Famous question is asked: was it really a miracle for the oil to last for 8 days? And now we got to celebrate, and the rabbis instituted thousands of years ago this holiday that lasts for 8 days, 8 nights, 8 candles. Think about how much oil was in that one jug of oil that they lit. There was enough oil to naturally light for a full day. So it should really only be 7 days. Return those gifts, right? So there's actually literally hundreds of answers to this question. There's a book about that big, and I'm just going to share one insight with you of what exactly are we celebrating? What was the miracle, the nature of the miracle? And so I want you to go back and put yourself in the shoes of the Maccabees for just a moment. So you're exhausted. You just spent weeks and weeks and months defending the Jewish homeland, protecting the religious rights of the Jewish people, so that it would enable them to study the Torah and keep the traditions. And you return to Jerusalem. You enter the temple, completely overrun, ransacked. Everything is upside down, disarray, chaos, complete dysfunction all around. Everything that is sacred has been defiled. No one would blame the Maccabees if they looked at each other and said, "We're going home. We're taking it easy. We're going to relax. We're going to enjoy ourselves, rest up for 8 days. And by the time the new oil is manufactured in northern Israel and gets back down, then we'll all come back and we'll celebrate. Let's go home." No one would have a complaint about that. That would be very normal. And yet, what did the Maccabees decide to do? Just like that, they knew in that moment their precise mission. They knew that they had to search and search and search for that hidden yet present jug of oil and find it. And they did find it. And when they lit it, it illuminated not only their lives, but the lives of that entire generation and our lives thousands of years later to this day. Tonight, I am honored that members of our community, our friends, will be sharing their story, the story of ordinary people doing extraordinary things, driven by the power of their neshama, their Jewish faith, their Jewish identity, their soulfulness, their connection to God, connection to the Torah, connection to all of us. Because when we do that, when we tap into the light of our neshama and its potent energy, we can illuminate much darkness. Tonight, by the way, is not only a special historic night in Jewish history because it's the 5th annual TENTalks in San Antonio, but it is also a special night on the Jewish calendar because in the year 1798, the Alter Rebbe, Rabbi Shneir Zalman of Liadi, the founder of the Chabad movement and philosophy and organization, it's the anniversary of his release, his liberation from Tsarist prison. And many of you know some of the fundamental principles of Chabad philosophy. You've heard it from the rabbis and the Rebbitzins if you've hung out here enough. And I want to share one of them that I think is relevant to this evening, and that is that the Jewish people are not many. We are one. We are one soul, fragmented into millions and millions of bodies, but we are one at heart. And I think when we have that approach, as we're going to be listening to these incredible stories, and we think about how we are really one people, it'll help each one of us reflect and pause before every encounter. After we go out of this room tomorrow, the upcoming weeks and years, everyone who we meet, that is our opportunity for us to kindle our flame, for us to exercise and illuminate the world with our neshama, and treat everyone that way as well, as one. I thank you for coming, and I hope you enjoy this evening.